Yakub Huda, lead sales associate with Nat Sherman Cigars. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the different sizes in premium handmade cigars. We're here at the Nat Sherman Townhouse in New York City, and let's get down to it. So, cigars come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes, and we have different classifications for each styling. We'll go through some of the more popular ones here now. So we'll start here with probably the most famous of size names, which is the Churchill size. This is a 7x48 ring gauge cigar, named after Winston Churchill and one of the longer smokes you'll see out there in size comparison. Next up here we'll have what's called a Torpedo. This is a 6" by 52 ring gauge. Torpedoes will come tapered on one end, hence where they get their name from. And again, one of the more popular longer smokes out there as well. Up next, a little bit smaller here will be what we call a Corona Gorda. This has traditionally been one of the more popular sizes for many, many years, falling a little bit out of favor now, but more in tune with connoisseurs these days. This is a 5 5/8 length by 46 ring gauge, a very traditional size there as well, and a size that brings out tremendous balance and flavor. Next up here is what's called a Lonsdale or a Dahlias. It's a little bit longer than the Corona Gorda that we just saw. This is 6 3/8 and a 43 ring gauge, so a touch thinner as well. Back in the day, this used to be considered a really large cigar. These days, you'll see it as more of a middle size. But again, great length here for the development of complexity, and the ring gauge brings out a lot of the wrapper flavor as well. We'll move on here to probably one of the most popular sizes today in cigars, which is a Robusto size. Robustos will come in many different variations, but it'll start off pretty much with a standard 5 by 50. This, what we do here with our 1930 Gran Robusto, is a touch larger at a 5 1/4 by 54. And you'll see Robustos with ring gauges anywhere from 48 to 56 these days, many times. And finally here we'll look at one of the more fun sizes in cigars, and one that you don't see as often anymore, which is what's called a Perfecto size. Perfectos will have tapered sides on both ends, and will come in many different lengths and ring gauges as well. This one is from our Epoca line, which will start at a 36 ring gauge at the foot, develop up to a 52, and then come back to that 38 at the head. But they'll come in larger and smaller formats as well. It's going to be an umbrella term Perfecto, essentially, for any cigar that has both tapers on both sides. Trends in cigar sizes these days tend to be towards bigger and bigger ring gauges. So what we're seeing, again, with the variation on the Gran Robusto being thicker than what a traditional Robusto is kind of following that trend there. We're also seeing the opposite trend where people are getting towards narrow and narrower cigars as well to kind of buck the other side of it. So that when you're seeing the Lonsdale come back into vogue and the Corona Gorda as well is kind of a response to that. So it varies pretty much around just the preference of the smoker on that front in terms of what feels comfortable and what they feel delivers the best flavor for them. So wrapper flavor will come through always more intensely in a cigar of this style of ring gauge with the Lonsdale, Corona Gorda, or even thinner with the Lancero, because the proportion of the wrapper is going to be greater to that of the filler than in a bigger ring gauge cigar. Conversely, these thinner cigars will smoke a little bit more intensely as well, and with a little bit more heat, so they'll be smoked a little bit slower to deliver the full flavor experience, whereas a cigar of a thicker ring gauge like the 54 ring gauge here can be smoked a little bit faster and deliver a cooler smoke. The converse is you're bringing in more air with the smoke as well, so you're going to dilute the flavor just a touch in terms of the intensity there. To learn more about Nat Sherman Cigars, please visit us at natsherman.com. We're here at the Townhouse on 42nd Street. Thanks for watching Cigar TV. Light it up.